Welcome back to another video, and today we will be going through the new makeup releases and announcements that have come out recently. Another week and another slew of new makeup announcement and product releases that have been coming out, and compared to last video, I think we're still going to be seeing there's been a lot of foundation releases, and I also noticed that there's been quite a lot of spike in terms of like different kind of lip product releases, so that has been interesting. And I'm gonna also call out in the beginning of the video that I was able to sense a theme, and this is related to some of the Valentine's releases that have come out. So in last video I found some of the new eyeshadow palette releases that had come out as the sort of grungy Valentine's eyeshadow palette theme, and that theme we will be seeing it in some of the newer Valentine releases that have come out after the previous video. But yeah, let's get to talking about the products themselves, and now I'm just gonna check on my phone, and yeah, let's begin. So first, something about an European indie brand. So GlamShop, a Polish indie brand, has come out with a new collection, and this I believe is called the LUX collection, I think. So this is very sort of, I would say, well, the collection is called LUX collection, so obviously I think it's quite like luxury inspired. Now I'm actually gonna go to the website, and it might have been good if I would have opened the pages actually before the video, but oh well, we are still doing this now live. So what do we have? Like GlamShop releases, generally they are quite big of a collection. So when they come out, there's quite a lot of it. However, I think GlamShop's release phase isn't something like maybe Colourpop used to be, or for example that I think Glamlight has been of lately, where there seems to be like so much coming out constantly, so they phase out their releases more, but when they do have a release, it's quite a lot. So okay, now I have a better picture from their website. So there seems to be 2 bronzers in this one, then there's a highlighter, 2 glowy blushes, then there's a mascara. I've actually tried 2. No, I only tried like one of their like mascara that was in the pink tube. However, I felt that wasn't particularly good. I don't think it did really anything to my lashes. So the mascara is not something I'm probably interested in. Then we have lip glosses, and then there's liquid eyeshadows, and then there's a glowy primer. I was really hoping for a palette for this collection, because there's been like a lot of individual products that GlamShop, for example, came out last year, and now even in this collection there are a few that I'm interested in, but the eyeshadow palettes just haven't been like getting me, like they haven't gotten me as much as, for example, other indie releases, and I think that's the reason, because you can only order GlamShop on their website, and I have discussed previously that even though they are an European indie brand, the shipping is quite expensive, so it's like almost like 11 to 15 euros. They have some sort of dynamic shipping rate, I think, so sometimes the shipping can be more expensive depending on the time you order, but because the shipping relative to where the products are coming from is quite expensive, then I usually want to make a bigger order, and because there hasn't been like an eyeshadow palette, then I haven't been ordering. And yeah, liquid eyeshadows are not something that I'm interested in. I don't use them. One of the lip glosses, the more like pinkier shade, which I think is actually in real life when you swatch it on more see-through, that could be interesting, and one of the glowy blushes and one of the highlighters could be interesting. Not that I need any more blushes, but that's an ongoing theme here, so sorry about that, folks. But yeah, so a couple of items that I could be interested to try, but again, because this doesn't really have that one sort of like major attention item for me, which would have been probably a palette, then for now this is I'm not gonna make an order, but when they come out perhaps next time with a palette that I want to buy, I maybe want to throw in some of these products. So GlamShop's collection, they are typically like limited edition releases, but the products do stay in stock for some time, so I'm not also worried that some of these might sell out before I have a chance to buy them if the order happens. But yeah, that's all about the GlamShop collection, but this is now available, and like I said, you can order directly from their website. So next, something from P. Louise, or actually I'm gonna go through both of the P. Louise releases in this one, because I actually do remember what they are. So first one is a blush palette, so they have come out a sort of an extension to their, like, P. Louise has so many blush palettes that I think it's a bit hard to actually stay up to date, which are sort of their like original anyway, but this is anyway my second blush, turned out to taste Sorry, yeah. So my second blush, I think, is the name of this, and so I think this is an extension to the blush palette they had initially, which was very pink toned, and now this is more sort of peach themed. I have now two P. Louise blush palettes, and I obviously don't need this one, but I believe this is already available. But hold your horses before ordering this, or if you're even considering about it, because the brand has come out recently with another collection. I'm not sure in the time of filming is this actually out, but I do believe this is coming out on their website in a few days. So before you're thinking what is this sort of picture of different things on the screen that you will be seeing, I will explain. So these are sort of like books of palettes. I will try to put an individual picture because I did want to like put a picture where you can basically see the contents of each of these, but basically this is a series of book styled palettes, and all of the palettes include a row of eyeshadows, then there's a sort of blush, and then there's bronzer, and then there is highlighter, and we have three kinds. So there's a pink one, there's this sort of peachy red one, and then there's a neutral one. I would actually maybe go recommending that if you don't have any P. Louise in your collection, because the issue with P. Louise is that all of their palettes are massive, and what the brand does is indeed that there is like, you don't get an individual blush or small eyeshadow, maybe a quad or a 9-pan, you get a huge eyeshadow palette, and then there's usually a huge face palette and so on. So if you don't have any P. Louise and you have been interested to try out the brand, for those I would actually recommend these, because I do think that you can get quite a lot of like good value, and I did in my sort of end of the year collective P. Louise review say that I do think the brand has quite of a decent quality. Like if I would not have gotten like a full-on pink blush palette from the brand during my like end of last year, then maybe the pink sort of book palette would be interesting, because I do actually like the highlighter shade this has, and well, obviously I'm a big fan of pink eyeshadow, but not that I don't like need another pink palette, and the bronzer shades actually do like something that some of those I could use, but yeah. So both the first blush palette I showed, that's already available, and these sort of book style palettes, these will be available in coming days on the website. But if you have a lot of P. Louise, then I think you probably have most of these shades and even most of these products in your collection. But if you're someone who wants to try out the brand, then maybe this sort of palette style packaging would actually, or this book style packaging that you will get like everything from eyes to your cheek products, then maybe that could be a good value and something to start on the brand with. So another brand I will try to include both of the products that I sort of noticed this week. So first one, we're talking about Tarte, and Tarte came out, first one is the Maracuja Juicy Concealer, and this is a pot concealer. The shade range seems to be quite decent, there seems to be quite a good gradient, and there is actually quite a lot of shades to choose from. I'm not a fan of pot concealers because those traditionally are quite heavy, like heavy duty concealers, and I don't particularly like applying my concealer with a brush. I actually do prefer using a sponge. So they are advertising this as a full coverage concealer with a radiant finish. Now that is quite an interesting, because usually, like I said, these sort of pot concealers, they are quite heavy coverage, but this also said that it's a radiant finish, so that's quite interesting. So not something I'm gonna be like ordering. Again, Tarte isn't one of those brands that's super easily accessible for me, but this is now available if it's something that interests you. So another Tarte product was that I wanted to talk about is this sort of huge face and eyeshadow palette. So this is the new Maracuja Juicy Eye and Cheek palette, and initially when I saw the photos of this, there was only like one photo of one palette, and then I was like, that, oh my god, Tarte, please. The brand has been known of getting critique for not catering different sort of skin tones, but actually there is two versions. I'm gonna show in the picture, you will see that there is actually two versions available of this particular palette. However, I'm not gonna, in regards to retailers, because some of the European Sephoras that this was already available at, I checked from a couple of like countries Sephoras, they only showed the sort of palette that's catered towards the sort of lighter to medium skin tone. So check your retailer about the availability, because there is, from the photo you can see that there is actually one for like tan to deep skin, but I don't know if all retailers are getting both versions of the palettes. The That's quite an interesting choice that actually all cheek products in both of the palette variations are creams, but then we have powder eyeshadow. So with these kind of palettes, I'm not saying like completely that this is a horrible concept. However, when you're having a palette that has both cream and powder products, there's always the threat that are the eyeshadows gonna mix in with the cream powders, and then you're sort of having a hot mess in your palette. So I don't like the eyeshadow palettes. Eyeshadow shades are quite basic mauvey brownish shades, and the cheek products are also not shades that I'm particularly like interested in. But just like buyer beware that if you're buying these palettes, then just be aware that the powders might get mixed in with the creams, and you might have a bit of a mess there. But this is also, I think, at least available in Tarte's website, and as I said, I did see that most like European Sephora's also had this palette, but I can't guarantee that you will be able to get both variation from all of the retailers that sell this particular product. Next, let's go to the Colourpop segment of today, and first one we're gonna talk about a collection that almost caused a mini scandal. So Colourpop did a collaboration with Twilight, and in this collection we had an eyeshadow palette. There are, I think these are liquid lipsticks, and then there's eyeliners, and then those sorry, no, they're not lipsticks, they're lip glosses, eyeliners, and then we have I think those might be highlighters, yeah. So what happened with this one, I don't know that they really have like such a low stock of this one. Twilight is one of those that I think I was technically in the age category that the movie series was like targeted towards. However, I think I was one of those people who thought that the series was quite embarrassing, or sort of like not really anything original in terms of teen movies that were produced at the times. But I do know that a lot of people did love the movies, and I also know that a lot of people like the books, even though apparently the books and the movies are like two different things, but oh well. This sold out, and they are restocking this, and a lot of people got mad because apparently they didn't have enough stock. So yeah, keep an eye on the website and on their socials that when they're gonna restock this one if you missed out. And not something, as I said, Colourpop takes quite a lot of time to get here where I live, so that's why I don't particularly buy from the brand, and I don't think the releases so far this year have been anything interesting, but this collection will restock if you missed it in the initial launch. Second product that I will be discussing, and this is the first Valentine's Day release, and I think this is like the only Valentine's Day release that so like in terms of palettes so far that doesn't go with my sort of grungy Valentine's theme that I've been talking about. So this is called Lost in Love collection, and this is, I think, quite bright of a Valentine's. So this is very sort of bright, punchy pink and orange tones mixed in. There are this gel pot, I don't know, are those glitters or shadows. Then they have their powder blushes that come in the heart shape compact. I do know a lot of people like those. And then there are quite bright looking lip glosses, and then there's the palette. This is cute. However, you probably already know that the orange eyeshadow isn't perhaps my primarily like favorite thing. So I think if this would be like easily available for me, I still wouldn't buy it. I mean, the lip glosses actually kind of look like fun, and I do think the powder blushes in the heart-shaped compact, those are quite cute. And so yeah, this is already, I think also, if it's not available, I think it's gonna become available soon. I do believe Colourpop still does their like new launches on every Thursday, so yeah. But I think if you're looking for a more sort of a brighter Valentine's themed palette, then this could actually be a good option, and the Colourpop that I have tried in the past has been good quality, and Colourpop has been known to be quite a good quality. But yeah, those were sort of all the Colourpop releases that I wanted to talk about today. So I mentioned already before that there was quite a decent amount of lip product releases. Let's go through the first one. So Hourglass has come out with the Phantom Volumizing lip gloss, and is this in this sort of is this on a clicky pen format that sort of like is trying to emulate the Tarte ones? It kind of looks like innovative 3-in-1 hybrid hydrates like a lip balm, plumps furful looking lips, and delivers high shine and unfinished lip gloss. Okay, so this might be one of those glosses that actually sting when you apply them to your lips. The shades certainly look like nothing unordinary. I also don't like lip glosses that hurt or cause tingling on your lips when you apply them, and these are $36 so in euros this is probably gonna be 30. It's either gonna be the same in euros or it's gonna be a bit higher. I don't want to pay over 36, or if it's gonna be closer to 40 euros, then I don't want to pay that much for a lip gloss. I have plenty of them, even though I decluttered my lip collection recently. But if you are an Hourglass fan, then this should be available to you soon. But just maybe try this out on store on the palm of your hand if you have sensitive lips before, like maybe buying this, and see that if you can feel anything unordinary when applying this one. But yeah, this is, I think that, like I said, nothing extraordinary, and I don't think like paying over 30 US dollars or euros for a lip gloss, that's beginning to be quite a high price, because I think you will, because like for example the Fenty gloss bombs, those don't cost that much, and those are already quite a good high quality lip gloss. But yeah, nothing else to really say about the Hourglass release. Next, for another Valentine's collection, and we're gonna be still seeing this quite a lot in this video. So Natasha Denona came out with their Berry Pop collection, and I still want her to do a reiteration of her like Midi Love palette. Like the Midi Love palette in terms of color story used to be one of my favorite Natasha Denona palettes. However, because that had an older formula within her line, the formula didn't age particularly well, and my palette unfortunately had a couple of dot shades that I did not like experience in my other Midi palettes, and I've been sort of waiting that when Natasha Denona would, instead of like releasing all these odd face palettes and mini versions of the like Love palette, that she would probably like redo the midi sized palette with a new sort of upgraded color story and her formula. But about the Berry Pop collection, so this has one of her like 3-pan face palettes, and then there's also like a berry red lipstick and a lip liner. I have to admit I was very tempted about the face palette. The face palette is also like horrendously expensive. I looked it on her website, it's like closer to 50 euros, and I just got my cheek products decluttered, and now they are in a somehow manageable way in my drawer. So if I add a single like cheek product currently to my cheek product, it's gonna mess up the whole order again. The lipstick is a bit too dark berry shade for me to like be using this every day, so this would be a more of a statement lips, and you probably know from my lip preferences that that's not something that I wear terribly often. And the matching lip liner is also not something that I need. But yeah, we're very tempted about the face palette, but it's quite like it's expensive. It is expensive, and my drawers are now like in a good order, and I don't want to mess it up yet. But this is already like available, and you can at least order this from her website, and I do believe this is already also available in quite a few of her like retailers. But yeah, that's, I think, is all from that. Let's go through actually for the next like Valentine's theme thing that I wanted to talk about. So from like from, how should I say, from expensive to not so expensive. So Catrice has also come out with the Valentine's collection. We still haven't got on our Catrice retailers the sort of spring edit that's now available, at least in most of the like German speaking countries. So I'm now thinking that it's the Valentine's Day products are gonna actually, because sometimes it happens that actually this sort of like trend edits that are like seasonally themed, that sometimes those actually come out quicker than the sort of fall and spring edit releases. But there's a highlighter. There are those like cheek blush stamps. Okay, that's quite interesting. Also, it's like sort of like if you have seen the sort of cushion foundations, so these have kind of the same idea. So these are essentially cushion blushes. There are, I think those are liquid lipsticks, and then there's quite a lot of like bright lipstick shades. Like, I'm not hating this collection. I actually think it's quite cute, and I think for us Europeans, for which most of us Catrice is quite easily available, and also it's not like that expensive, then this could be maybe something to check out. I am a bit curious about the newsflash about the blushes, not that I need any of them. The highlighter, I like the compact, but the shade is like very typical like a champagne highlighter, so for the compact itself I'm not gonna buy this. The liquid lipstick shades are also something that I'm a bit eyeing on, but those could also be, there's like one rosy shade here that could be nice. But yeah, I'm I will have the opportunity to see this most likely in store, so I'm not gonna like go on my way and ordering it online. Next Valentine's release, so again we're going to the another end of stuff, so of the price range, so let's talk actually about the Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. So actually it's been a while that Charlotte has actually like extended properly her lipstick line. I did know that last year there was the Elton John one, but which she released like a couple of special edition lipsticks, but this is like a proper like shade extension, because there's like quite a lot of berry and sort of pinky toned lipsticks. So let's see. Hollywood Beauty Icon lipsticks in Hollywood Pinks and Hollywood Reds, and these are in the kissing formula, so this should be like, this isn't the matte formula that she has, but this is like the more satin-like formula. I actually am probably in the minority that I didn't like Charlotte Tilbury's matte lipsticks. I think while those initially applied really well with the lip liner, however when reapplying those during the daytime I noticed that the lip line was, without a lip liner, they somehow applied a bit messy, but the kissing formula is something that I could still be open to trying from the brand, and there are like a couple of nice shades. I'm looking at the Candy Chic and then the Red Carpet Pink shades, and maybe even the Rose to Fame. It is a bit hard to always base only from like hand swatches how they will actually apply to your lips, but the sort of shades from 2 to 4, the shade 1, which is Icon Baby, is probably too pale for me, but from 3 to 4 those could actually be quite nice shades. The reds I would obviously skip, because again I don't wear red lipsticks, but yeah, these should again be available soon, or they are already out. Yeah, I'm not actually hating this one, even though Charlotte has plenty of lipsticks in her range already, but these are kinda cute. And I think we will continue with the, I'm now checking that do we have any more Valentine's releases. Yes we do, and now we are getting back to the grungy Valentine. So first one, we're going to now to the indie brand. So bellabeautébar has come out, announced a Dead Rose palette. There's going to be another bellabeautébar palette that I will go through later. But this is the Dead Roses, and this is like continuing with what I said about the sort of Dior Smoky Essentials and the Klarity Kosmetics palette from last year, that this is sort of the more sort of gothic grungy themed. So this is, or has like it has a row of more darker shades, and then we have these sort of pinks, traditional like pinks and reds complementing it. I'm not checking that could this be the first bellabeautébar, because the brand is available here in Monolith Shop, and I have been like eyeing a lot of their releases, but either the color stories in the smaller palettes haven't been appealing to me, and then I don't really want to buy the because they have these like very huge one. I don't really want to buy those. But if this becomes available in Monolith Shop and it's not horribly expensive, then these could be... I will wait and see, because this could be it. I mean, it obviously has a lot of shades that I like, with the pinks and reddish tones and so on. And then are we done with the Valentine's Day, or did we still have us? Yeah, actually we're not done. So Kiko Milano came out with their Stellar Love collection, and I'm gonna call this the anti-Valentine's collection of this season, because this doesn't like... I don't know what happened with the product development. Was it that one of them thought that, oh, we want to do this sort of an astrological theme thing, and then they were thinking that, oh, when they're gonna release it, and then they thought that, oh, maybe this could be a Valentine's collection, but nothing in this like screams Valentine's for me. Like, they were like small... As with Kiko launches, there's a lot. So we have the smaller eyeshadow palettes, which neither the blue or the red one is appealing to me. We have some lipsticks, and the liquid blushes in pots kind of look like interesting, and maybe the highlighter, but yeah, like, I mean, the stuff is quite cute, and I have said that for like someone, if you're in Europe and looking for a drugstore brand that has good quality, even though Kiko is a bit more expensive, like Kiko has a good quality, and these are all cute, but nothing in this collection like screams Valentine's to me, and I think they should have just released this as like a separate collection, like just make it like, because it's all in blue packaging, they could have made this like the Star Winter or Midwinter release or something, and then come out with something separate as a Valentine's, because this doesn't really remind me of Valentine's, but yeah. And I think then we have, oh yeah, this was probably the, well, I don't think anyone's disappointed anymore. So, Pat McGrath came out with the Heart's Desire Valentine's collection, and I think all of us have already lowered like our expectations from Pat McGrath. So initially we were teased with this blue rose packaging with the red background, but I think all of us were already like having our expectations lowered that this is not gonna be anything like the packaging, and I think everyone else was right. So the quad has again pinks, golds and browns, and then there's one pop of purple. The highlighter looks like something that she has come out with before, and also the lipstick shades, while they're nice neutral shades, they aren't like anything new within her line. And also I will give her critique, the quad's packaging, the quad is bit less expensive than her typical quads, but the packaging has been downgraded, so the quad's packaging is now in a cardboard packaging, and usually we have gotten the, like used to it, the quads are in the like hard, in the like sort of the hard plastic packaging that she has her motherships come out with, but this one is also, yeah, someone please like give those in the Pat McGrath like design department a shake, because actually I do like the sort of blue and red packaging theme, but nothing inside of the packaging looks like the outside of it. And yeah, this was truly a manage your expectations already beforehand, and it's just really disappointing to see what has happened to the brand, because people used to be so excited about the brands, and now we're all just like waiting to be disappointed by her. But yeah, that's the collection is already available on her website, but I would not spend my money on any of these items. And are we now on our last? Yeah, I think those were like all the Valentine's Day releases this year, and now let's go through the rest of the stuff that's still on my list to go through. So from Valentine's to maybe other type of products, so Terra Cosmetics has announced Space Chemistry palette, and this is sort of very like astrological or space themed stuff. I'm looking at the palette, and for me this is a too chaotic, like it's a bit too like mismatched. The individual shades actually look like a lot of fun, and I do believe Monolith Shop announced that they will be stocking this, so if you're a fan of this particular brand, then this will be available to at least here on Monolith at some point. However, for me the color story is just a bit too, it's a bit too chaotic for my taste. I need something a bit more cohesive. Next one is another indie release. So Nomad Cosmetics came out with the Dark and Dazzling palette, and Nomad Cosmetics is unfortunately a brand that I would have to order from US, and it's a brand that I would really like to try, but because I would have to then wait quite a lot, and then there would be sort of the additional import cost, it's not a brand that I have tried yet. But this is this would have been a skip to me anyway, and again this is something space themed. Are we having like two kind of themes? So we're having the Grungy Valentine's and we're having space themed stuff for the winter. Well, that's interesting. But anyway, for me the palette's color story, it has some pinks, but this essentially has a lot of like dark jewel toned colors that I'm not a fan of, and particularly like bright blues or these sort of darker blues and purples. I do believe all the shimmers in this are supposed to be like a duochrome or multichrome, so if you do like the color stories and this color story and want some special shimmers, I think this would be a good palette to look into if again it's something that is either you're in US, which means that it's easier to ship to you, or if you like the brand and are willing to wait for the long shipping times. And the price of this isn't horrible, it's $59 US, and you are, I think, able to use influencer codes to get the price down. But yeah, I think those were the sort of, oh, wait, we're still having one more. So, there is a bellabeautébar. This is the second palette that I already mentioned that I did discuss in the Valentine's. So they are coming out with another palette, and I do believe this might be actually releasing quite close to the Valentine's one. So this is the Ultraviolet palette. And this is in collaboration with deandranicoleee, and this is not an influencer I'm particularly, like, I don't know this influencer, but congratulations for them to getting a collab. And this is a palette that I'm definitely not getting, and this is related that it's full of like purples, and while I do like purples as a bit of an accent color, it's not like a primary color story. However, if you have been looking for an amazing purple palette that has special shades added to them, then I think again this could be a good option. But again, I would see maybe if you're in Europe and wait that if Monolith Shop is gonna be stocking this one palette, if you are ordering it directly from the bellabeautébar website, it's gonna be like $62 and you are able to, again, I think, use affiliate codes if you want to get the price down a bit. But yeah, interesting that they are coming out with two palettes quite close to each other, but I think the brand has been coming out with quite a lot. I think I have seen a few influencers even saying that they are a bit like concerned that because the brand is coming out with so much stuff, that are they able to do the quality checks and see that all the products are good quality as their previous ones are. But I think so far, like, all of their releases have gotten quite good reviews. But yeah, this is, like I said, they're gonna be releasing this one and the Valentine's one quite close to each other, but maybe it's also good, then you can maybe check that if you can like get both of the palettes, so you then don't have to pay for two different shipping costs. But yeah, those were sort of all the indie releases that I wanted to talk about in this segment. Okay, then some palettes that I was actually a bit surprised about, that these are like coming to US first, because these haven't been available to Europe. So Essence, I think what they did that on the Ulta, which is an US retailer, that they do stock expensive brands, but they do also stock quite a lot of drugstore brands. So I do believe Essence's and Catrice's like fall edits became available in US like now in the beginning of January, because sometimes they release stuff like the release times are a bit odd and they differentiate between like Europe and then on North America. But these two palettes, these haven't been available at Europe, and I do believe these have been launched only in the States. So these are the Shake It Up eyeshadow palettes, and there's one sort of like strawberry and lemonade named, and then there's one which is called iced caramel latte. And I'm gonna say and think that these are quite cute. Like, I haven't been a fan of Essence's eyeshadow quality, and even if these would become available at Europe, I have enough like eyeshadow palettes that I have in my collection, and then there are eyeshadow palettes that I do want to spend my money on more. But I do actually like my favorite is obviously the strawberry and lemonade. I think that there's a bit of like pop of green, but otherwise this is a very sort of pink neutral heavy palette, but it is like, as I said, it is quite cute. Also the coffee themed one, it is like a deep like neutral palette, but I do have to say that there's actually quite a good like gradient. There were like paler neutral shades, and then there's darker shades. It is a bit like, how should I say, at least the photos make it look like it's a bit reddish leaning. But yeah, I don't know when these are going to be available and where these are going to be available, but apparently these have been like released in the States. And another like drugstore release was LA Girl, and they came out with a lot. And I am mentioning this because there are a few European like stockists that do stock LA Girl, and I do think that this might be, for example, something that either Cosmetic for Less or Boozy Shop are gonna get. And there's quite a lot of go-through. There are like eyeshadow palettes, then there's an eyeshadow palette in sort of all plastic packaging. We have, I think there's a primer, there are some lip balms, lip glosses, and those eyeshadow paste, there's setting powder, there's there's setting spray. Like there's quite a lot of go through. Like what caught my eye was the eyeshadow palette that is in the sort of plastic rectangular packaging, and I did look at the sort of lip products, also the lip balms, or I don't know if these are like actual lipsticks. Those kind of look cute, but I have tried a couple of LA Girls products in the past, but I wasn't too impressed about the quality. So someone comment down below if you have tried the brand recently, how is their quality these days, because they are, even if they are imported here in Europe, they are still quite like, at least in the retailers that I have seen, they are quite relatively like inexpensive still. But like I said, I haven't had the best experience with the brand in the past, so it would be interesting to hear that has the brand's quality gone up from those days that I have tried them. So next we're gonna be looking for some Tom Ford. So these are their sort of new quads, and I'm looking at this from Angel Naked's website, sort of Instagram profile. So I'm actually gonna have to use a translator to see are these. So far there doesn't seem to be a release date or where these will be available at. So we have the quad 45 Iconic Smoke and then 46 Ember Bronze, and I'm already gonna say these look a lot like other Tom Ford quads. So if you particularly, because I do know people collect these, so if you have a large collection of these Tom Ford quads, then maybe check your collection before you see do you want to spend your money on them. I do think that the one that has sort of like navy blue, dark sort of purple, and then there's the sort of pop of peach, like that is the most interesting one of the bunch, but other than that, nothing, like neither of these still are not gonna make me want to spend the money on them because the quads are like horrendously expensive. And another like higher end brand release is Bobbi Brown's Rose Glow collection, and I think this is like advertised as a spring collection because I was thinking that is there this like their Valentine's release, but I think they are advertising this as a spring collection. And there are some eyeshadow sticks, there's the highlighter, and there's lipsticks. The highlighter looks kind of interesting, like it has a nice embossing on it. And maybe it has a bit of like, it looks like it would have a bit of a pink sheen to it, but neither the lipsticks or the eyeshadow sticks are anything interesting, and I have already told in the past that Bobbi Brown is just one of those brands that really doesn't make anything, at least within me, tick or want to spend money on it, because the brand is still a higher end brand. It is quite expensive, but yeah, like the packaging is cute. It's this nice bright like pale pink, but nothing exciting here. And then let's go through some more luxury brands. So Florasis came out with the Nomadic collection, and Florasis is one of these like very more expensive Chinese makeup brands, and their packaging is very stylish. So they are known for the fact that their packaging is like very luxurious feeling, and I do believe the quality of their products is also quite, at least they have gotten quite decent reviews, but it is this more sort of traditional like luxury brand quality, so you aren't gonna get like, for example, super pigmented eyeshadows. But regarding this collection, so the Nomadic collection, there's an eyeshadow palette, there's a powder, there's a highlighter, there's a lip product, and then there's the blush. And like it all looks quite nice, neutral colors, but there isn't like anything that excites me. The eyeshadow palette has quite big pans, but the shades aren't anything like that I don't already have. The blush shade is cute. It's this sort of a rosy peach, but again, not something that I need and want to buy. And the highlighter and powders, and also there's a cushion foundation, which are very popular in Asia. Again, nothing interesting, and also the liquid lipsticks again. Like the packaging looks nice, but this isn't something that's gonna make me want to order from the brand, because this brand ships from China, so it would also take some time to get to me. So another luxury release. So Dior has come out with their sort of is this like a Charlotte Tilbury? Not a dupe, but inspiration. Yeah, so this is Dior Forever Glow Maximizing Highlighter. So yeah, this is like I think meant to be like Dior's idea of the flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury. I will have to say that they are actually like, aside from having like this sort of like skin tone based highlighter shades, they actually do have some other sort of shades. So they have this sort of like white based one, like a rosy pink one, then there's even peach one, and then there's like more brown tone leaning ones. So they actually do have maybe like something a bit different compared to the flawless filter line, which only have like highlighters that are purely based on like skin tone colors. This is probably gonna be available at our local department stores, but I would be interested in this kind of product in a mini. I already explained it also with the flawless filter one. I would rather buy it in the small size, because the occasions that I did like to use the flawless filter product was for sort of my cheekbones when I wanted a more subtle highlighter, and for that it works. However, I can't use this type of product because I do know some people use it as a complete like primer product or base product. I can't do that because with my skin, because I do have a bit of an oily lenient skin, it's gonna be too glowy for me. But if this is available in a mini, then I could be interested in, but not at a full size, and probably as a full size product this is gonna be quite costly because it's Dior, so not something I'm gonna go run out to buy. But if they would offer minis in this one, then I could be interested to try out the product. Another lipstick release. So L'Oreal has also announced, and I don't know, is this an extension to their satin lipstick? So this is L'Oreal Paris Color Rich Satin Nude Lipsticks. The bullets look quite nice, and this is more sort of a satin formula, so it's not gonna be super drying on the lips, and yeah, I'm just saying that is this, because I do believe that they have had nudes in their satin lipsticks before, so that's why I'm considering that is this like a rebrand or an reformulation, or is this like a completely new line, because the lipstick range itself I don't think is new. I mean, I'm looking at the shades, they do look quite nice. The 601 Worth It is actually looking quite nice. It's a sort of more from pinkier lipstick shade. What else is new here? But yeah, these are probably gonna come to my country at some point, but I don't need a new satin lipstick, like I have plenty as it is. But L'Oreal generally, I do think their lip products are good quality, and if you want a new satin lipstick in a nude shade, then this could be a good option, but this is a skip for me, at least for now. So really is that I'm thinking that did any of us really want this back? So Kim Kardashian used to have a makeup line, but then there was all this sort of, well, I think there was her like divorce was one thing and the drama with that one, but also the makeup brand, I don't know was there copyright issues, but there was like some issues, and then she decided to close the brand down, and now apparently she is relaunching it. So this is the skin. She's launching this, I think, under her, is it her skincare line, the skins, or, but this isn't like, because previously it was the, was it the KW, yeah, I think she will close down the old brand because it had the W in it, which was obviously from her like her last name before her divorce, so obviously I can understand why she didn't want to continue the brand under her old name, but this is now under the skins line, and I'm gonna have to say this is like very boring. I like the nude neutral lipsticks, they do look nice, but those aren't like anything, like I don't think anything in the makeup industry these days isn't original, but especially these one, they don't really stand out, and also the eyeshadow palette looks like it's a basic matte neutral palette, and I don't think the packaging actually either looks that nice, because like it looks like this really plain cardboard packaging, and I don't think this is gonna be. Yeah, the eyeshadow palette is like $50 for 12 shades. Like, please people, don't spend your money on this. If you're looking for a good neutral palette, and you will even get more shades, than if you live in States, get Colourpop. I can even say that here in Europe there are definitely like brands that you can get a good neutral palette for less money. But yeah, like I said, I'm not too sure did anyone like really, when she closed down the brand, that I don't think the brand, her makeup brand even previously was that, especially during the last couple of years before she closed it down, I don't think it was anymore that like hyped up, and I don't really know that did anyone particularly want this brand back, but it is now, I think it's gonna be available soon, and if you are obviously a Kardashian fan, then go ahead and buy this, but it's just something that I will at least personally be happy to just skip out. Moira is extending their blush line, and I should have probably included this in the Valentine's section, but that's okay because we actually do have another Valentine's release that I forgot to mention, but there are so many coming out currently, so please do give me a bit of a break regarding that. But these are extensions to their like previous cream blushes that are in this sort of clear plastic packaging, and Moira Cosmetics is something that I can actually order if I would have liked to from Boohoo Shop. It is a brand that is still on my sort of the try list of brands, but I'm still like waiting out to see that when sort of that one product comes that I'm like that, yeah, I really have to get that, then I will make sort of bigger order from ordering the brand's products. But yeah, there are like quite many new shades in this one. There are like more lavender tone shades and even some very like dark purple shades, which is probably, this is gonna probably like complement a lot of those with a tan skin tone. But yeah, that's actually quite good, and there's like lighter shades, but there's quite a lot of also like deeper shades. And I do believe this has been one of like these sort of particular blushes have been like Moira's more popular products, and I think it's quite good that they're extending the shade range, especially like from the darker end of shades, because usually what brands do when they come out with, they usually come out with these sort of lighter and mid-tone shades and maybe like one or two darker shades, but I'm happy that Moira is extending extending this one, and I do have to say that some of the blush colors here, actually you can see it from the pictures, look quite interesting, so I will give them credit from that. Then the sort of second Valentine's thing that I forgot to mention, and this is continuing the sort of grungy Valentine's theme. So Klarity Kosmetics is teasing their Valentine's palette, and when I'm filming this they still haven't released the insides of it. I will pop a picture from the insides if it has come out. And this is also like, there's a skull in this, and this is called, actually what is this called? I can't make out what's the name of the palette, because the name of the palette is like on top of the, it is on top of the palette, but it's in a like very dark, this sort of edgy letters, and I can't really make it out. And I'm looking at the description that, yeah, the makeup on my radars comment, like there's not, the name isn't also written here. But this is also continuing with the sort of grungy theme, so there's the sort of skull and then there's roses, so I'm assuming this will be quite close to what we have been seeing, so I will be expecting reds and dark shades and then a bit of pink, pops of pinks, because that seems to be now a trend that we are getting this sort of darker Valentine's palettes. But yeah, interested to, as I said, I think it's quite an interesting theme that we are seeing with the Valentine's releases this year. But yeah, that I think now is the last Valentine's release of this video. Okay, then something that I spotted, I think yesterday, was that Doll 10, which I believe is an online only brand, and they have come out with a new Doll Squad palette. So this is the Doll Squad 3.0, and this is sort of more cool toned palette. I do think that the sort of Doll 10's aesthetic is really this sort of like natural themed and this sort of more neutral themed makeup, so they don't do anything like super pigmented or bright or anything. Jen Phelps, I believe, I'm not sure if she affiliated with the brand, but I do know that she rates the brand quite highly, and I do believe that in the palette before this one there might be a shade. It's a, I think, basic neutral palette, and there's a shade that actually named after Jen, and she also always speaks quite a lot about this brand. Which I can understand, because I think the brand suits like her makeup preferences quite well. So this is quite of a typical like a cool toned neutral palette. However, I do like that there's actually like this row of like silver blues on the bottom, so it does actually bring something different, so it's not another like grey leaning neutral palette. The brand's aesthetic is not something that appeals to me, and this is something again that I would have to order from the US, so it would take quite a while to get to me, and also it would increase the price of the product, so not something that I'm interested in. But I would actually wait and maybe check that, because I do know that Jen is probably someone who is going to get this, and she will probably review this. So for example, go and check her channel and see when she's gonna make a review of this, and if you're looking for this sort of good cool toned neutral palette, then maybe see if this could be an option and something you would be interested in. So we're getting to the last release of the day, and this is actually something that I noticed this morning when I opened my Instagram. So Coloured Rain has come out with a new palette, and when was the last time Coloured Rain came out with a whole palette? Because at some point the brand was very popular. The Queen of, was it the Queen of Hearts palette that got really a lot of hype? It was almost a palette, because back then Coloured Rain was a brand that was available on Beauty Bay, because at one point Beauty Bay was sort of the retailer that sold a lot of these popular US brands. Unfortunately, that is not the case anymore, but luckily now we have Monolith Shop. But Coloured Rain used to be available at Beauty Bay, and the Queen of Hearts palette was something that I was really, especially considering my makeup aesthetic back then, was something that I eyed a lot, and I did contemplate a lot that if I wanted to get it, but I never ended up ordering it. And then something happened with the brand. I think the owner took a break or something, but they basically like discontinued almost all of their old stuff. But I think that now in like last year they started releasing new stuff again, but they haven't been releasing like a lot of these bigger eyeshadow palettes. But now this one they have announced. So this is the Camo Squad palette volume 1, and if it's a volume 1, it might indicate that there's at least another one coming. And I think this is like inspired by the original like Instagram icon, if anyone still remembers when Instagram used to have the sort of old school camera as their icon. So this is essentially like divided into quads, which actually could be good for someone who's a beginner at makeup. There's this sort of more orange toned quad that has a purple silver, then there's the sort of neutral quad, then there's a pink quad, and then there's a quad that has like green and yellow in it. I don't obviously like need this. The color combinations and the colors as a whole in this palette just aren't something that I'm vibing with, but I'm not completely like gonna say that this is a bad release, because I do think that it is actually quite smart, especially for someone who maybe needs a bit of help in like combining colors, especially in like bigger palettes. So this could be like a good option. Is there a price on this? The price is actually decent. It's $36. Again, Colored Rain, unfortunately, currently is not a brand that is, at least for me, easily accessible. I don't think there's a European, like inside EU, European Union based retailer that we can get the brand from. But if you're in US, I don't think this is like a bad price, because there's like 16 shades in this one and $36, and I do believe, at least in the past, the brand used to have a good eyeshadow quality. Of course I can't, because I do know that they have reformulated their eyeshadow palettes, so I don't know how the like this how the formulation currently is with their eyeshadow formula. But at $36, if this is something that you can get at that price, I don't think it's like unreasonable, and it would probably could be something that if you like this color story, that maybe you could try out the brand. But yeah, it's how should I say, a nice, like it's a bit brighter palette, but not something that I need in my collection. But I do like the sort of quad idea, especially for those who are getting started in the makeup. Okay, yeah, so that was the last one. There was again quite a lot of things, and I do believe that we will start seeing the sort of spike in the Valentine's releases in the coming weeks, because it is again not that long. It's only a few weeks until February, and obviously like immediately when the 14th of February is over, like then the Valentine's things obviously stop, because then again the Valentine's Day is already over. So I think during the next few weeks we're just gonna see still the onslaught of new Valentine's releases, so those are still probably gonna be in the next video. And yeah, there were also, like, as I said, lip products. I tried to like mention the few ones that I was sort of interested in, but there was actually quite a couple of more lip products that definitely like I thought of mentioning, but then I was thinking that there's already like so much other things in the video, so I decided to exclude those. But just so you're aware, there has been like a lot of lip product releases aside from the Valentine's themed ones. But yeah, if you like this kind of video, then push the like button, subscribe to the channel, and then if you want to get notifications from my future videos, then ring the bell button, and comment down of course below what did you think about the new releases I discussed in this video. You can also find me with the nickname Makeup Hedgehog on Instagram. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye bye!